Hey everyone, it's Tegan. During the editing of this video, we actually managed to hit 600 subscribers. So we would like to personally thank the person who took us from 599 to 600. They're the best. With that, we'll go ahead and get into the video.
Hey everyone, welcome back to more Flesh and Bad, and today we're going to be doing some more Zen gameplay. I've put together kind of a maybe board for this list. So these are kind of all the cards I'm considering coming up for the... these are all the cards I'm considering for the upcoming calling. So these are cards that I'm still kind of testing out. And probably some combination is going to make this list, but I'm not entirely sure on some of these ratios. The ratios are what feel actually really good right now. It's more so like the single individual card choices. Sometimes when you're like deck building, it's very hard to test individual cards because like sometimes you don't draw them, or like sometimes you play them and then you block with them. Like it's hard to really evaluate cards sometimes. Like Flex Clause, for instance, like the amount of times it matters over Bittering Thorns is actually like quite rare. But again, there's a lot of little things like that. Like Tiger Eye is also kind of on the cusp of making like the main deck. And in the board we kind of got just some random like hate cards. I got like Cosmics, Wax Offs. I'm pretty confident are not super great right now, but again, I have them in the board just in case they end up being better than I think they are. Weakest Link, also a consideration, Censor, blah, blah, blah. So we have a decent kind of setup here, and I think that there's some combination of these cards that produces like the most efficient Zen list, but again, it's very hard to figure out exactly what that is, especially in like 2 or 3 days that we have left for the calling. So yeah, with that, I would encourage you all to experiment kind of on your own, test out certain cards, see if you like them, see if you don't like them. Censor's a little bit of a meme, but I've actually like kind of considered it. Just being like a 2-card 7 with Kakara is kind of decent. Yeah, but with that, I think we'll go ahead and get into the games. All right, so we've got a new, and Tegan has outlawed me for playing against new on camera, so I will not play the new, unfortunately. All right, we've got a Prism. Our deck's not really set up incredibly well to be Prism, but we'll give it our best shot. Let's see, what do we want? I don't think we want reacts. They're letting us go first, which I think is probably incorrect. Maybe it depends on their build or whatever. So here I think we're going to either pitch levels or pitch 100 wins. I think it's probably fine to pitch 100 wins. Yeah, it's like close. I'm kind of fine like IPing myself with levels, and like we could play out the 100 wins this turn, but it's not super important. We also probably should have lit off on Kakara. I think it's better to lead off on Kakara here just so they can't like double block this, because like they could give an inefficient block to the Kakara theoretically. Alright, looks like they're paying to put steps. That's fine. Pitching an ALS. So you get Kakara, or we could just send another 5. I'm kind of fine with just 5. They could like flash out an Aura and end step, but I think we're fine with that. Like they only have 2 cards in hand, so they could have technically done it. Like they could have flashed out Genesis if they wanted to, but I don't know if people are still even on the Aura plane with Prism. It's kind of a good question. It got a lot worse after the Tome of Divinity ban. Alright, here we see our Herald of Erudition, which is obviously quite scary. They have the pump, it's obviously also bad. Kind of want to just give 6 block here and just preserve our armor. Although it does feel like they maybe have a pump. We'll see. Alright, no pump is good for us. Alright, and then Herald for 7, we're probably not going to be able to block here. So one important thing about the Prism matchup is that the first Herald, if it hits, is always better than the second Herald. And the reason for that is, well, okay, so in the early game, it doesn't really matter, right? But in the mid to late game, if you let the first herald hit, they can like tutor like a figment and then flip it and then attack with angel and then get another herald afterwards. Whereas the second herald never has go again. So obviously it's a lot stronger to block the first one just so that they have to play a herald with no go again. But we have a pretty okay hand here. It's unfortunate we can't really arsenal a tiger, but sending a decent little chunk of damage. No transcend yet is also a little bit problematic. But we'll do our best. Alright, we found our transcend, which is good. The problem is they do have a lot of cards in hand. So we're definitely going to try to give up at least one piece of armor here. It's not traverse, obviously, because we have our chi, so we can basically tutor on demand. So the question is whether it's Shuko or whether it's Kasaya. I feel like Shuko is actually worse here, just because like we want the resource. It's close between the two. Obviously, there's like a lot of late game value to Shuko, but this tends to be a race matchup, so I'm kind of fine just getting rid of it here. All right, they have the Wrath, which is unfortunate, but I think we have to make them have it. It's definitely pretty good here. All right, we'll pass. I imagine they're flipping Erudition this turn. All right, so we get a 5-card hand out of them, but they only have one action point left, effectively. So you can play out max like one more Herald. Unless they have auras, in which case they can play out like ALS or something, which would be annoying, but I think we can maybe recover from that. We did see an ALS pitch, so they are on it. Okay, so we do see an LS. But they have to get rid of their whole hand and not send another Herald. So maybe we're fine with that. So one interesting thing we could do here is we could pitch into Kakara, pitching the Pouncing Key and the Biting Breeze if we wanted to max filter, or are we okay with holding on to the Biting Breeze? It's an interesting question. There are a lot of merits to holding on to Biting Breeze. Specifically, we have guaranteed Transcend, but we're also pretty likely to draw into another Transcend card at some point. So I think I am just going to pitch it just because it's a 2-block. All right. We can arsenal the drop and hopefully kind of recover a little bit of tempo here. This is another case scenario where we're going to absolutely want to try to block the first Herald. Light Soul is actually really annoying, but I guess, yeah, they can technically put that in Soul, which they should. Yeah, so they basically get free Soul for Soraya here, which is pretty bad. So popping this doesn't actually accomplish a ton. I mean, it's still like probably fine to do. Just prevent 7 damage is probably fine. It also forces their 1. Okay, so Lysol putting in a lot of work there. All right, Soraya coming in. We're going to have a 4-card hand, presumably. Yeah. Definitely not ideal. All right, finishing on Red Herald of Triumph. So there's not much we can do here, obviously. So I think we're just going to eat this. And then I don't think they can ALS here. I think we're just passing. This definitely looks like they're in a pretty far ahead position. Like definitely not an ideal game state for us right this second. The Lysol hit was probably the thing that kind of did it. It's pretty rough. At least we do have Transcend finally. But we are a little bit late. So we'll start with biting. Oh, my like, hold on. Got a little glitchiness in the corner there. We'll just leave it. Alright, so Biting Breeze coming in for 1. Alright, Spectral Shield eats it. That's fine. We'll drop it. They could ALS here if they wanted to, but it's probably incorrect. Let's start with Growl. This should force some pretty annoying breakpoints. We can do 3, then like 1 off Tiger, then do another thing. Which should clear Soraya, but we are pretty far behind in terms of tempo. At least we have 5 armor still to block, though. Them defending here, I think, is actually kind of good for us. So we don't have Shuko, notably. We could get spinning just so we don't have to draw into a 2 block. Is anything better? Probably not. Alright, I think it's just spinning. We could also gotten mauling. Oh, also we should be setting the Tiger first, but I'm dumb. Actually, I'm gonna undo that, sorry. Send Tiger first. Just so this is extra annoying. At least forces like footsteps or something. I forgot about the Growl. Because now they have to get footsteps here, and then the next thing they can block. Or I guess we do pouncing and then spinning at the end. So, okay, so we definitely should have just gotten mauling. But that's my bad. For some reason, my brain is like not figuring out Go again today. All right, we have Halo. Interesting. They're not on Vestige, so why are they doing this now? I guess turn off. Oh, okay. Yeah, so maybe we should have played the spinning. Interesting. Sure. I guess we'll now kill Soraya. I generally have thought of Judgment as being pretty low value. But maybe it's actually like kind of fine here. Prevents 4 damage. Okay, yeah, we'll just pass. I think that was... So I guess playing the spinning wheel kick there is probably correct. I haven't had to play around Judgment in so long. All right, we have 5 Go again, which is fine. I think we're just going to pop Traverse here. And then they have 1 other card in hand, which could also be a Herald. But I think denying the Rapture value is pretty real. So let's block with Key Unleashed and Traverse. If they have the pump, they have the pump. All right, they have another pump. That's fine. Sure. So they do get free flip, but they don't get free attack at least. Probably should do a free flip. Maybe on like Rebirth or something, that doesn't matter. All right, opponent is in a pretty good spot here. So here I think we want to start with Kakara. Pitching wins. We're gonna Maul and Key this time. So yeah, losing out on the Figment value, obviously not great. On the Judgment specifically. Okay, yeah, Kakara coming in. Alright, we'll get our tiger, and then I think we just want to swipe here just so we can threaten the extra 1 damage. Alright, them blocking I think is good for us. As long as we don't brick like perfectly, I think we're probably fine with them blocking. So now we'll tiger swipe. I think it's worth doing it on the angel protection just so we make the other tiger. And they don't have halo, so they can't do the ravages trick where they target their angel with it and then basically take our action point. Alright, then we'll finish on Tiger for 0, Maul and Key, Arsenal, Biting Breeze for our next Transcend, and then we still have 3 armor up in case we can block like a 6 attack Herald. So we're not completely out of this yet. I think we're definitely behind, at least by like 4 or 5 points. I do also still have Dream Movers, but I don't know how much value that's going to get. Alright, we need a good turn. Alright, this is a good turn. Immediately good turn. Alright, it's coming in for 6. So they are threatening a flip if they want to. So we could block 6 on this. But the problem with that, we can do Biting Breeze, pop, 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 pop. Take 6, they flip either Rebirth or Judgment here. They get a 4-card hand. Then what do? We Biting Breeze, Grain, gain a resource, get Aspect, Growl, Arsenal Preserve for next turn. So I think this is the case where we're fine with them flipping. It's obviously like +4 life, but they can kind of do that whenever they want anyways. So I think we're taking this. Because like we lose out on so much value because we can basically almost strip their hand, I think, next turn. And like the angel flip isn't going to matter too much if we have like the Biting Breeze Grain trick. Alright, they can't attack with this because they don't have the 2 flow. That was part of also my consideration is like they can't attack with a Figment or an angel if they flip. Alright, so we're in a good spot here. So let's start with the Biting Breeze at them, and hopefully we can bait them into Phantasmal here. I definitely think we got a little bit saved by this hand. Like, I think that misplay with the spinning wheel kick could have cost us the game there. Now we can have the option to hold on to the Biting Breeze if they just want to let this hit. Or we can hold on to the Grain and save it for later. I think we're just going to use it now, though. Because it's not guaranteed we're going to be able to transcend off of it. Like, Preserve is a lot safer to have in Arsenal. Alright, we get the Figment, which is good. And then we don't have to worry about Judgment anymore. Which I should have probably worried about to begin with. Get our Aspects, and then we want to save Growl. When do we want to do Growl? We want to do Growl now, right? So Growl now. Because we want the 1 buff on the Tiger is better. Alright, then we'll do our Chase Aspect, and then Arsenal this. This should should at least take 1 more card out of their hand, right? It's 4/3/3, so they could theoretically block with Footsteps, flip an Angel, and then they have a 3-card hand. Okay, they didn't do that though. Interesting. So now we also have a choice of whether or not we want to pitch Chi to send 6, which would also force 1 more card out of their hand. Because it basically represents an extra 3 damage now, and forcing them off another card could matter if they wanted to do Herald into Flip. But Arsenal Chi is also very strong. It's an interesting decision point. I think we should Kakara, just so they can't like pump or like use an Angelic Wrath here. We could have also flipped it and then done that, actually. Is that better? I mean, it's obviously better, but yeah. I think we're still fine here. They could still like pay into footsteps and then flip, but at least it's on my turn. It's interesting. I guess I'm doing this to play around Angelic Wrath specifically, because I think if they're on the red copies, they're probably on at least like a yellow copy or two. Alright, we see a Herald Judgment block. That's good. So get them down to 2 effectively. They have a 2-card hand, which is probably just Herald, and then we can probably block it, assuming it's not a 7 attack. If it's 7 attack, we can still block it, but it's a lot more inefficient. Okay, no 7 attack. Okay, it's a dominated 7 attack, so that's probably worst case scenario. But I think we're still okay here. So we can block 6 here. We take 1. They flip one of these for free. We send 2, 1, 4, or 2, 1, 1, 4. Could also go down to 1 if we wanted to. And save the no, the pouncing paw is, we're probably gonna have to use this turn. So we should do this. It's very interesting. I wonder if getting rid of that preserve actually might lose us the game there. I think there are hands where it maybe doesn't, but it's interesting. Oh, they did have the yellow Angelic Wrath. Wait. So what did they block with? They blocked with the Herald Judge. So we did play around a yellow Angelic Wrath, exactly what I was saying. So maybe that was actually a good play. Just to force another card out of their hands. But that might be a little bit results oriented. I wonder if arsenaling it is better just given a random 3-card hand. It's definitely close. All right, time to strip the hand. So we can do 2, 1, 1, 4. That should hopefully, like, if they overinvest into this Themis, then we should be okay. They block 3 here. They like Phantasmal Footsteps the next thing. Then they take it on the next one. Okay, this is an interesting block. What does this mean? How do you have something that reduces by 1? Interesting. Oh, ward. Yes, right. That makes sense. Sure. Okay, that makes sense. So they don't have flip mana up, which I guess is good. You can pop pouncing here. Send this in for 1. Then we can send another one with Thunderwinds and then finish on Chase the Tail. If they... Okay, block here I think is good. So now we send another one. So what happens if they take this? I think we still just send our Chase the Tail and threaten lethal, right? It demands 1 more card or a flip. Which then takes them out, like, Prism's 1-card hand means they can't cast like a Herald or something. So I think we're in a good spot. All right, we see a red Angelic pitch. Okay. Wonder how many yellow Angelics they're on. Okay, not a brick hand, so that's very good. So we'll start with Flex Claws. We could have also Arsenal Tiger Eye, but I think this should strip cards out of hand again. So imagine, oh, they should not let this hit. Okay, they can Arclight, sure. That's fine. And then we Tiger Swipe the Arclight. It's an interesting decision. Okay. All right, we don't brick here, which is good. So we'll start with Kakara pitching Cosmic, I think. I think I definitely could have played this game a little bit better, but I think that the decision to not Arsenal our not Arsenal or Preserve there and push an extra 3, forcing a card out of the hand, did actually win us the game. So maybe I'm kind of a genius. But again, I think you can maybe honestly justify taking the risk there. I think red Angelic oftentimes more than not means they're on yellow Angelic, though. I don't know. Prism deck building is kind of weird. I haven't really kept up with it. We'll go ahead and play Mauling here. Demand the last 2 cards and rinse and repeat until they die. We'll save the blue in hand just so we can at least Kakara something. Okay, they do need to give me more than that. Maybe just off it. Okay, so that was pretty close. So they were on 3 Angelic Grass yellow, which I think that makes sense. That's kind of what I was assuming, given that they're on Angelic Grass red. Auras are kind of whatever. Lysol was really good that game. Yeah. Prism is definitely a difficult matchup. Yeah, there's like micro little misplays that you can kind of make throughout the game. And again, I think that Prism's gotten like hit significantly, so she's not like a super big contender anymore. But I'm sure eventually they'll print some more Prism cards. So let's go ahead and get into the next game. All right, so we got the mirror. Let's see what I have for the mirror. Probably want Airflix. Probably want our Growls. CNC's good. What else? Tiger is fine. Like one of each is fine. I don't know. Not entirely used to this exact version of the list, so choices are a little bit strange. All right, MLGPUGMASTER. All right, show us what you got. All right, starting with Kakara, pitching Aspect and Levels. I think I'm fine keeping a Chase in hand. It's like it could obviously get awkward, but it does just let us do Chase Aspect, which is pretty good. We can still block out like a weakest link if we need to. All right, red penalty key is fine. I think we... it does feel weird giving the other Chase Tail here. Huh. We could not do it and get rid of Levels, but that also feels weird. I think we just get the 3 value. Like, obviously, not having 2 Chase the Tails in the deck is quite bad. But we do have, like, Levels Patho Traveled, which is kind of nuts. So here... I guess we're just pitching Homage to do Path. Gain a resource, and then activate. I think we still get like a Mauling Key here. We get Mauling Key, or we can get Key Unleashed. No, that's probably wrong. Let's just get a Mauling Key. All right, we'll do buff draw. Draw another Transcend card. Okay. All right, sorry, MLGPUGMASTer, but when you draw all Transcend, you draw all Transcend, and sometimes that's how the Zen Warrior goes. It's so rough. I apologize if you have not transcended yet or you don't have it. Wind Chakra block maybe to me suggests that you don't have it, but I'm not 100% sure. So here, I guess we want to Arsenal this, so we should not Kakara and just send spinning. Basically, functionally gain 1 more damage, and then we get this in Arsenal. Zen Mirror is heavily favored for whoever transcends first. Not even first, but like if you transcend like a turn or 2 before your opponent, it is so much harder to kind of come back from that position. All right, we do see a Wind Chakra, 100 Winds block. So it's 2 blues. Interesting. So even if hand was blue and chase, you probably still, or if hand was like blue and chi, you'd probably still want to keep a blue there just so you can get Kara. Oh, okay. Maybe not though. If they have the blue from Arsenal, this makes sense. That's also really funny because that's exactly what our hand is. Like blue, preserve, chase. Yeah, it's pretty good. All right, so they have chase aspect here. Talent, yes, yeah, true. Oh, did they hit off harmony? That's really funny. I didn't even notice that. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Sometimes it'd be like that though. That's really funny. Okay, so a little bit lucky on the chase aspect here, but again, it's not the end of the world. Both players have transcended, so this is looking like a not one-sided Zen mirror, which sometimes they are. But this is a very spicy turn, though. Love it. And again, I'm basically sandbagging this Rising Sun, just in case. Like, we basically just want to chain Transcend as hard as possible, and then we can use Traverse to also get a Transcend. But yeah, we're saying no blocks to all this damage because, like, making a Zen State here is not actually all that good. Like, we block 6 effectively, kind of, which is, like, okay, but I think there are better uses of our stuff. I think I want to try to make a Zen State when they like use Traverse or try to keep like a really big hand is generally my kind of rule of thumb. Or if it's like free to do. Alright, so let's see if I'm any luckier. Alright, I'm not as lucky. Unfortunate. I guess we can put a Chase the Tail back in the deck though. So that's kind of good for us. So that kind of makes our early blocks a little bit less bad. And then kind of interesting here. I think we do get this. I think we still just need to get a 1 cost because like I don't want to just pop my Pouncing Paws for no value. We maybe should have thought about this a little bit harder, honestly. Like maybe we should, but I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of like popping, not popping, or I'm not a huge fan of popping Pouncing Paws when you don't need to. So this hand is a lot less good than their hand, obviously, but you know, be like that sometimes. We do at least get Tiger Swipe coming in for 6, which is kind of cool. And then Mauling will threaten another 7. So it's definitely not terrible still. All right, they're keeping Traverse. Okay, an interesting block. Traverse plus Biting Breeze. This is a very interesting block to me. Not like interesting in terms of like a wrong block or anything. Like I think that it's just a. It means that you don't have a blue, or it means that you have a redundant blue in your hand, I guess. Or maybe like the Biting Breeze blocking 2 is better than it sending 1. But yeah, we'll finish it off on the Mauling. Definitely an interesting play. 4-card hands. I did have the option here to make a Zen State if I wanted to, but I don't think it's necessary. We're still just like chaining Transcend every turn, which is kind of disgusting. Huh. It's weird when you want to make a Zen State in the mirror. I haven't played the mirror a ton lately, if I'm being honest. All right, we have a Tiger Swipe coming in. Levels. Draw a card. Yeah, I think we're saying no blocks on this. The Zen State gets a lot worse with like Shuko, basically. So here, they're probably going to pump their Tiger Swipe to 5 if I had to guess. So what's the best block on that? It probably involves Traverse and like a blue, which I don't love, but we should have Transcend for basically the rest of the game. All right, I do think we need to respect this. Giving Tiger is a lot of value. Could also get blown out by like a CNC. Is that a risk we're willing to take? How bad is this Tiger? It's at minimum 1 damage. So we know that. We can actually stuff a CNC as well if we need to. So maybe that means I'm a little bit more inclined to block Traverse. His hand's very bad against Weakest Link though. Alright, so we do play around the CNC, fortunately. So I think we are going to... Do we want to actually use our Pouncing Paws here? It's an interesting question. I do want to eventually develop out the... I do want to eventually develop out a Chase Aspect line, but we're just kind of not seeing a line up. So I think we're fine taking 6 here. We'll save the 1 for a breakpoint or something. Rising Sun, Passover, targeting. They use their preserve, so we don't have to play around it. So I guess we can just target Chase. Wait, did they preserve this turn? Or is that what they tutored for? That's what they tutored for, right? Okay, so we'll gain a resource, and then we'll Rising Sun, hope to draw. Oh, you're into Chase Tail. That's really good. Gain a resource, and this is looking like a nutty hand. It's looking very, very good. So what's the play here? We do levels, pitch, draw, go, Chase, Aspect, hopefully we get a hit a blue, and then we can Kakara and CNC. But if we don't hit a blue, we can still just CNC. I think that's pretty alright. And then, yep, we'll go ahead and do it. So we got 1 Chase Aspect off, at least. Do draw, go. And if we hit a blue here, it's great. Alright, we do hit a blue. It's very, very good. This lets us get a Kakara in as well. So we are a little bit at risk of bricking potentially on the next turn, because we basically had to use our Transcend from Arsenal there just to stuff the CNC. But this is pretty much the perfect Zen turn. You got levels, you got Chase the Aspect, and then you got to finish on a CNC. And we also got to get Kakara in there. So I am not incredibly displeased with this turn. Alright, we get a Bouncing Ball block, which also might be very scary with the CNC. Yeah, that was basically like the perfect Zen turn. If I could like build a Zen turn that was kind of under duress a little bit, that would probably be it. Like we did have like a little bit of pressure applied on the last turn, but like very, very solid turn. Okay, this hand, I'm not gonna say it's a brick, but it's not ideal, obviously. We can get like 3 value on our Tiger, which is a little bit funny. All right, they're also transcending, so this is a transcend heavy game. Oh, I think they do get an extra mode if they want it. All right, get an Aspect. We got another Chase. It's very possible. All right, draw, go. I think we are going to hold on to our Pouncing Paws for a little bit here. We're probably going to have to block at some point this turn. All right, using their 2 floating, they have 2 cards in hand. Or they have Tiger and then 2 cards in hand. So they can still Chase Aspects. For sure, if they have like blue and Chase. It's very, very good. All right, we'll see what this Tiger's doing. We still have a little bit of fridge though, so I think we're probably safe. But damn, very, very nice turn. So we got Chase Aspects, so we got a minimum 10 damage coming in, which means we will probably have to just give up Kasaya. So it's really interesting. Neither player really made his end state this game. I don't think it's super impactful if both players are playing pretty well, which I think we both are. So let's go ahead and block with Pouncing Paws here. It doesn't really matter where we block, and then we'll probably just give up Kasaya as well. And we should be able to send a pretty nasty turn back at them. And they'll take 1, go to 1. They do still have access to Pouncing Paws, but no way to really use it. Or not yet, at least. Okay, so we have a pretty good turn lined up. Let's start with some growls, see what they do. Double growl pumping the tiger to 3 is quite good. Alright, here's another one. Threatening lethal. This should strip most of the cards out of their hands. Like, they could have react here, I think, and live. Oh, I froze. This is a very close mirror, though. Like, basically both players functionally at 1. Like, we both transcended it practically the same time. I mean, I went second, which is obviously, like, favored in general. But overall, like, fairly close game. Alright, we see the 2-block, so 2 blocks in the hand, so I think that unfortunately seals your fate, MLGPUGMASTER, or, sorry. Unfortunately, I think MLGPUGMASTER, I think, is probably dead here, but put up a really good fight. This was a very, very close mirror, and I think they played very, very well. Like, double chase, how many chase aspects do they have? Very good game, though. Shout out to MLGPUGMASTER for giving me some Zen practice. Very, very good job. Very well played. Yeah, but great job, MLGPUGMASTER. I don't think you even did anything wrong that game. I think we both just kind of transcended. I think I basically just won the die roll, and that's all honestly what it was. Like, we both kind of had similar resources. Yeah, but I think that was a very good game to end it on. Yeah, so anyways, this is kind of like the Zen shell for now. I'm probably not going to be posting a ton once I'm in Portland, so we're going to be doing Rosetta Rumble tomorrow, ideally, which is 3v3 Flesh and Blood, which will be really fun. We did one of those videos a while ago if you want to go check it out. But yeah, this is kind of like the Zen shell for now. There are a lot of different like choices and inclusions that you can make in Zen, and I think they'll give you marginal benefits in some matchups, you know, marginal detriments in others. But yeah, I've put some ideas on the board, and again, you can probably kind of intuit what my list is based on some of those ideas. But yeah, let me know what y'all think about any of the games or any of the deck building stuff, and I'll see y'all next time. All right, thanks. Bye.